Ankati konda mai ngakale chuma anali.
Welcome to the fourth episode, the Access for Life Online, under the Sustainable Future Foundation Top Show. Today is a great day whereby we'll be talking. We have the third dialogue about environmental science and the economics, focusing on sustainability. With me, their colleagues, and I would like to thank them for accepting to be in this kind of talk show. So I'll ask them to introduce themselves, their name, and whatever they can say as well, if they are free to say. So I'll start from right here. What's your name?
My name is Rachel Samson Bella, a second year student here at the University of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Bunda campus specifically, studying the bachelor's degree in agricultural economics. I'm in second year.
Good to know you. And my brother?
Well, as simply put, my name is Gracious Gaia. I'm actually studying Bachelor's of Science in Natural Resources Management. I'm in my fourth year of studies, and I'm very passionate about environmental issues as well as climate-related stuff. So, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for that last part. I like it. Your passion.
Thank you so much.
All right. Just to elaborate a bit about what we've been doing today. Our main purpose of today's episode is to explore the connection between economics and the sustainable development in Malawi, with focus on the climate change and food security. Your insights today will be very invaluable, highly invaluable. So I will be as much as you can. So without wasting too much of our time, let's go to the main thing. So I would like to ask you the linkage. Do you believe economics of study? Do you believe economics can be linked with other fields of study? And if yes, how do you see this connection supporting sustainable development?
Okay, I wanted to introduce myself again. I just remember that you did that. Hi.
Great.
Well, I believe that there is a connection between economics, the environment, which can lead to sustainable development. Yes. Why am I saying this? Every aspect of economics should be applied in every field. If you talk about climate change, if you talk about sustainability, you cannot talk about that without assigning monetary value, without assigning money to it. Because if you look at humans, we are naturally selfish. And what everyone wants at the end of the day is either money, food, basic needs. This all talks about economics, fixing all those necessities into places where human satisfaction will be at its best. So yes, I believe that economics is connected to sustainability.
Very comprehensive. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. And some question. Should I repeat it? Or you understand?
I can repeat the question actually.
All right. Do you believe economics can be linked with other fields of study? And if yes, how do you see this connection supporting sustainable farming?
Economics plays a vital role when it comes to sustainable development. Okay? In a way that in whatever that we do, just in the daily life, we have to play a role. Okay? I mean, there are different pillars of sustainability where we can talk about economics if we don't talk about social, social interactions or social capacity. We can also talk about economics without talking about environment. So I mean, these particular things, all these particular pillars are independent on each other. Because I mean, if one pillar exists, other pillars, one pillar will exist. This is why we are saying to say economics actually is the backbone in terms of sustainability, because if we actually teach people about economics in the prospect of sustainable development, they will be in a position to understand how monetary values, just as she said, because I totally support her point, but as well, we should also be in a position to have those particular restrictive measures to say, okay, we are doing this particular economic and we are also doing this particular development. At the same time, we should be able to control the environment at the same time. So, pretty much to say, economics plays a role in sustainable development.
Great.
Yeah, sure.
Great. So I've heard that there's unlimited dependency here. So, you guys, Rachel and friends right here, just to say, it may come at some point you want to divert to say language, guys, ping it or somehow, you're free to do that.
Okay.
As far as you want to give us the insights that the audience may see.
Sure.
So, diving into the another part is about now look about food security. So Malawi has faced persistent hunger for over 10 years. So what do you think are the main causes and where should efforts focus to address this issue? I will ask my brother before I go to Rachel.
Sure. It's not just good enough time.
Alright, so I will repeat the question. Okay, fine, cool. What do you think are the main causes of that harm we're talking about? And where should efforts focus to address this issue we're talking about?
Yeah, issues of, I mean, you said issues to do, but I mean, you do it.
Alright, I'll try to simplify what I say. The main thing you should keep in mind is food security.
Issues to do with food security. Right. I wanted to start with ignorance. Okay, ignorance of the society, because I believe Malawi isn't the first nation that has been introducing policies. I mean, policies have always been there ever since. Okay. Now, these particular policies have been applied in different fields or in different departments. We talk of agricultural fields, we talk of, for example, healthcare sectors, even in other sectors, education sectors, okay? Now, let's do much on agricultural sectors. Now, these particular policies, they are aligned with the fact that, for example, people are supposed to be in a position to acquire this amount of food for them to be secure, okay? But now look, it seems that these particular policies are only written in books, but they are not implemented. Right. So pretty much to say, if these particular policies and there was like a very strong framework to follow up or to monitor about the progress and be able to civic educate these particular people within the rural communities. And I mean, incorporating these particular principles very early, even doing this particular in terms of doing focus and discussions with others, all those kinds of things would actually necessitate these particular people to be able to have this particular knowledge about food security. But I'm also impressed with how the government is coming up with these kinds of subsidies, into subsidies where they're trying to incorporate the fact that the citizens are now getting fertilizers at a very cheap rate. That means to say, by projections or by my studies, since by next year at least, there will be plenty of food.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've captured two main things that you have said.
Yes.
You have talked about the policies that are there, implemented.
Yeah.
They have so many things in there, but those things that have been working on the ground.
Yes, they are very theoretical. They are not being implemented.
Right. And the other thing you said about the programs like subsidy.
Yeah,
AIP, something like
something like that. The subsidies, they're coming in. I think this
so the focus should be on those things just mentioned.
Yeah.
How long do you want to add on those?
Okay, so I would say that poor mindset is the cause of hunger, is the cause of food security in Malawi. If you look at the Malawi Vision 2063, one of the 6 enablers is mindset change. So why am I talking about mindset? I posted something on my status yesterday, and one of the people who reacted was a student at Malawi University of Science at the Gymnast. He said that you farmers are failing our country. So the idea is, whom are you incorporating food security of the country to? Who are you associating food security to? Mind you, if we talk about food security, we are saying that food supply should be enough to every Malawian, not only to farmers. So people associate food security alone with agriculture. I should say this, that agriculture offers only more than 30%, about 30% of our country's GDP. Where is the other GDP? It has to come from mining. It has to come from the other sectors. So the mindset of Malawians to say agriculture is of course, agriculture is the backbone of the country. But the mindset the Malawians have to say it is farmers who have to make food for us, that's the mindset that is wrong. Because we are depending on smallholder farmers who only sell their surplus after they feed their families. So we are talking about additions, remaining things, or we're talking about leftovers to keep the country secure, which is impossible. So I say that what's keeping our country hungry is not anything but mindset.
That's an ambition from our upcoming economist right here, Rachel. And she just said that mindset check. Just remind you, we are the Access Malawi Online under the Sustainable Future Foundation, and this is a talk show. Going further, we're now to talk about climate change, which is also our main part of focus. And I'll start with you, Rachel. Do you believe climate change is real and affecting Malawi? And if you believe, what experiences or evidence share your view?
Okay. Let me say that there is a positive part and a negative part of every situation. So climate change can have a very big negative part because of our point of view, because of our perspective, because of how we view the climate change. And I say that climate change has got positive impact on our country. The coming in of the GMOs, the coming in of commercialization, the coming in of agriculture in a commercialized sector, they are all coming in because there is something called climate change, because there's something called the problem. So I see climate change as an advantage for Malawi to advance more and not as a disadvantage to keep the country in any kind of crisis. I don't know if that answers the question.
Wow. So she believes that climate change is real and is really affecting Malawi through so many revolution activities. She just clarified. And without hesitation, without being hesitant, I'll go to my brother right here. If it may be happen to be so good to you, you may remind the audience your name again.
I'm gracious.
Proceed with the answer.
Okay, fine. I'm gracious, Kaila. I will talk about issues to do with climate. And in climate change, these issues are very dynamic and they keep on changing time to time.
But first, do you believe?
I do believe that climate change affects Malawi.
All right.
Malawi's economy, and it affects different sectors in Malawi in general, actually. Because there have been evidence, even historically, you talk of the likes of Paris Agreement that were happening in the past just to reduce issues to do with, you talk of global warming, Kyoto protocols and all those. So those are some of the evidence that climate has always been a pressing issue since way back. But now, we can't handle climate change just as how it was handled in the past, like 10 decades. That's not how it goes. So there is this particular kind of an investment really affected the state of that kind of an environment. Last time I visited Zanyama Forest Reserve just for my data collection and other stuff, it happened that, or even the communities themselves, how they are having the direct access to the forest, kind of seems like the government is not even taking part in issues to reduce, or even to put in some measures just to get those particular people out of those particular buffer zones or related stuff. So I feel like climate has really affected many places so far. In Malawi, actually also. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Gracious. And our topic, to remind you, is sustainability, in general sustainability. But now we are looking into the area of economics as well as environment science. So Gracious is a student doing environment science, a fourth year student, and the Kulecho is a second year student pursuing agricultural economics. So I have right candidates, as I told you at the beginning, and as we are being here talking, I think you captured the insights we are anticipating you to have. So I'll go forward. Now we would like to look more into economics field. We would like to draw maths, each maths in the economics field. Right. So I'll ask this question.
Wait, is the question mine? Just to go to you first. Then.
All right. You want him first.
That's our question.
Okay, Rachel, what's you to answer first?
That I'm based.
All right.
All right. Okay, fine.
All right, don't worry, don't worry.
Yes.
Okay, I think your perspective from inside, you complete, eh?
Yeah.
You know, as far as this topic is concerned.
Yeah.
So, we have talked about climate change,
Yeah.
right? How is this climate change influencing economics, especially in agriculture, production, and the national development? Remember, we are talking about sustainability and development suddenly. So, how is this climate change influencing economics, especially in agriculture, production, and the national development?
All right. First of all, I'd like to start with climate change. When we're talking about climate change, we're not necessarily looking at only one component. Climate change has different components in it. Climate change can be in form of threats, like uncertainties that sometimes you haven't even prepared for them, but they just have to come and impact either infrastructures. You talk of agricultural properties, can also affect even health. The health or the livelihood of people at the same time. Now, I will talk about, for example, what happened in Molanji back in the days about the cyclone Freddy and how it affected the livelihood of people. That was also a form of climate change. Okay, such that agricultural properties or agricultural land were eroded, or even houses were disrupted. Now that had to place in the government to put in some budgets so that they should allocate some funds for those particular people that they have lost their properties. You see, so I would actually say climate change possesses a huge threat in terms of the economic development of the country as well as economics itself. In terms of agriculture, that means there will be low production. The soils will be eroded. That means there will be infertile. Land degradation and all those kinds of issues. So climate change really plays a factor. But I'll leave this particular person to my colleague because she's an economist, so I believe she will answer this question.
All right, Gracious, just give us an example of something. Whenever we think about it, sometimes we get some worried. Second free, everybody in Malawi, when he hears that kind of name, strange, and we don't like it. So that thing is caused by climate change. The changes in the weather patterns, changes in the rainfall patterns due to climate change impacts on agriculture, production, and national development. So we are focusing on economics, he tackles these parts, and he wants later first wanted him to start so that she can proceed or she can add more from what Gracious has said. Here's the flow.
There is a certain day I someone else's status. And that person said that if you have the same mindset that you had when you were the problem was coming up, if you have that same mindset while solving the problem, then you will not have a solution. Alright. So because of this, I want to say that why do we have climate change? Why is there climate change? Is it only because of time? It's also because of people. You will say that humans are the reason climate has changed. So climate has changed because of us. As economists, as an economist myself, I will say that climate change will positively affect the nation in general. We're talking about sustainable development. What is sustain? To sustain. To sustain is to maintain something over the years. So we are going to move from a short run to a long run kind of country, meaning that we are going to change our resources from the fixed resources that we used to use, from the fixed technologies that we used to use. We're going to move from that comfort zone and then go a step further. Why are we doing that? Because of climate change. Climate change has hit us harder. Of course, there are some factors, but giving all of them constant, you will see that because of climate change, we are going to be a long run kind of country. So we'll be a country that will be focused on the future and not only on the past and the present. So we cannot use the past to define the future anymore. My perspective of climate change on economics, I would say that climate change is positively affecting economics. Because of climate change, we are able to see the bigger picture of the entire story in our country.
Okay, great. Now Rachel has told us something very important that he said about the causes, and the one of which she said due to the human activities, and some people used to call it anthropogenic activities.
Wow.
And she's also talked about uh, something very important about how we can be able to overcome this. She talked about we should be adaptive. We should look things forward, not things of yesterday and today only. I mean, that's very, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
All right. Uh, Now, this is the very last part we would like to talk about. And this part is very, very important as far as sustainability is concerned. We are talking of sustainability here. And sustainability is simply the usage of the resources we have today so that future people can also access them. Now, the question is going to you first. This hands you first.
All right.
As an economics student, agricultural economics student, there will be time that you graduate from this University of Rwanda, the University of Responsibilities. Maybe you go to the world or you proceed with your academics somewhere or even here at Rwanda as well. I'll just get this question. What are your plans after graduation? What did you project when you see yourself? And how do you hope to use your economic knowledge to promote sustainability here in Ghana?
Thank you so much for the question. It's really nice. I like it.
Thank you so much.
I heard something from our head of department of the Horace Peel. He said that do not limit your expectations. Actually, he said that with the what a coincidence. So you said it yourself that Rwanda is a university with endless possibilities. I am not limiting my expectations after I leave college, after I graduate. Of how I'm going to promote sustainability, I'll promote it through mindset change. I believe that as long as we can change the mindset of most youths, as long as we can change the mindset of Malawians, as long as we can change the mindset of everyone in this country, then Malawi will sustain the environment in one way or the other. So what I'm going to do for Malawi is very simple. What does my economics knowledge say? My economics knowledge says you should use full employment, full efficiency. You use all your available resources, but then to maintain production, to sustain your food. Actually, in Malawi or any other human in general, what do you look at? Malawians normally look at the perspective, I should have food. and then I should go to sleep. That's what they want. They look at the perspective of food. If we can think beyond food and think commercially, I believe that our country will sustain the environment and also sustain the families. Thank you so much.
That was Lecho, a student here at Luwanu pursuing economics, agricultural economics, and she just projected how she will contribute to the development of this country sustainably with her economic knowledge. She's pointed out something great, which is mindset change. And now, I'd like also to divert here to my brother, Precious. Precious, you as well, you are a fourth-year student. You are going to graduate very soon. And how do you hope to use your environmental science knowledge to promote sustainability here in your life?
That's actually a very good question. Because one thing that I do believe in, I believe in the power of knowledge. Right? And how can someone get this particular knowledge is by reading many, many books. Not only reading, sometimes also through observation. You observe things, you spot the gaps, and you find solutions to those particular gaps. Okay? Now, as a natural resources student or as an environmental student, I do believe with the knowledge that I have learned so far from my department, especially I have learned things to do with urban policing, I have learned things to do with biodiversity management, land and water, as well as wildlife ecosystems, all those kinds of things. For example, if we talk, I would draw much on the tourism sector, right? You talk of parks such as Lake Malawi National Park has diverse species, and you're looking at how people manage these particular resources there at Cape Macri is top notch, okay? And that inspired me. For example, as a student, I wouldn't just sit there, but I would be chasing gaps and be able to analyze them and be telling these particular communities, or even to start my own organization. Because, like, even environmental issues are always existing. Just as I said, that climate issues that we're dealing with.
Ndinkakona nyumba imodzi udzala ndi mtendere. Ulemerero sindalama koma mtima wa chimwemwe. Tererero mawa terere mtondo. Terere